Y'all probably say, where exactly are you going with this? I see you really trying to take it there. Old school flows chew you out, ain't fair. Jordan
came home in 2013. Went to the halfway house. Got me a job as a personal trainer. And in 6 months, I was the most sought out trainer at the LA Fitness here in Phoenix. They made me a master trainer. A year later, I opened up my own gym. I actually became somebody pretty fucking known in Arizona for the fitness thing. And it got to my head, man. It got to my head. I'm not gonna lie. It got to my head. Even right now, my baby's mom, like, she'll bring up videos from back then because I used to have I was already doing YouTube channels back then.
Yeah.
And like I had a mohawk, and I was like JC Fig. I was like a fucking straight douchebag. I was like, it got to my fucking head, and I was making money, man. I was like, doing the 5% thing with Rich Piana, and like I was driving my convertible, and I was still living as a drug dealer, even though I was making my money legit.
Yeah.
I was going to strip clubs. I was still in AA, they call it being a dry drunk. Like you're sober now, but you're still making all the mistakes you were making when you were drunk. So I was doing all that shit. I was fucking around on my girl. I was, fucking strippers, going to strip clubs, doing this, doing that, and just fucking around, man. Just fucking up, doing little drugs here and there. And finally, my PO just caught up to it and was like, yo, you tested positive for weed. And I was like, man, I didn't test positive for weed. And he's like, yup. And I was like, can't be, because I'm smoking spice. I ain't smoking weed. And it got to the point where I just didn't give a fuck no more, because like I feel, okay, so I'm testing positive. He sent me to counseling and like rehab. I'm just gonna keep on smoking. So I started smoking and smoking. Finally, he just got tired of my shit. And one day he called me to the office, and I was sitting in the office, and I was still like cocky. I still came in all dressed up. I was about to go have breakfast, and just cocky as fuck, man. I was sitting on the table with my little V-neck white shirt and my tight little jeans, and I'll never forget that fucking day, man. I heard chains and shackles, and I got up and I was like, "You fucking set me up." And the PO was like, what did you think? What did you think, Mr. Almanza? You think that you were just going to keep playing mouse and cat games with me? You think you were going to go back? And he sent me back that day, man. And, they cuffed me up, shacked me up, everything, and put me in the van. And there was a bunch of other dudes in there that were coming from court. And they were like, God damn. They're like, fuck, you're fucking swole as fuck. Where you coming from? and I was like, shit, man. They just picked me up right now. And they're like, man, you're a big motherfucker. And they ended up, violating me. And they gave me a year. A year, and they restarted my probation all over again. When a lot of other people did the year and got out clean with no paperwork, they restarted my shit again. So, got violated, got sent to fucking Victorville. I don't know fucking why, USP. I had 6 months to do by the time I got there. So, I'm on the bus, and you know how you're on the bus and they stop at the low first. They let all the people out from the low. They stop at the medium. They let everybody off in the medium, and then they go to the high.
Yeah.
So when we got to the medium, I was like waiting for my name to be called, and I was like, oh, I'm getting off right here, because they got 2 mediums over there. And they didn't call my name, and I was like, what the fuck? So then we pull up to the fucking wall, and I was like, oh, hell no. These motherfuckers set me behind the wall. And the dude next to me was like, damn, homie, It's gonna be hard time here. It'd be cracking in Victorville. I was like, I know, motherfucker. I heard of Victorville before. And I was like, fuck, man. As soon as we got there, they were on lockdown. Somebody had just got stabbed up in the kitchen. So they took us to the kitchen to go eat. There was still blood on the floor. And I was like, man, honestly, I didn't think I was going to make it out, man. And, it's crazy because my guardian angel, man, has always been there for me, man. And I remember I volunteered to clean the tier so I could get out from my cell. And I was talking to a couple of the homies, and that's where I met that dude that I sent you the picture of today.
Yeah.
He did hard time. That dude is like somebody. And I started talking to him, and I was just like, who am I gonna even sit down with here? Because on this side of California, I'm considered to be a dropout. That's why I use that term.
Yeah.
And in Chicago, if I was to go over there, I'm pretty much a neutron. That's what they call them over there.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to sit by yourself, or if there's no tables, you don't even fucking sit down. So, I was like, man, who am I going to sit with? What am I going to do? And actually, a lot of the homies were like, hey, dude, you can sit with us, man. And I was like, oh, man, love, man. You know what I mean? I appreciate that shit. And I started walking to my cell that day, and the guard was like, hey, why do you have a 5% tattoo on you? I was like, oh, I used to be like, I used to be sponsored by them and, sell all their shit at my gym. And he's like, oh, man, you lied, man. And I was like, all right, whatever. He locked me in my cell. 20 minutes later, he brings me an extra lunch. He's like, man, I Googled you, man. He's like, you're the real deal, man. You got videos and everything. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I told you, man. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing at a fucking USP with 6 months and your points are really low? I was like, I don't know, dude. I don't know if it's like a setup or what, but I don't know what I'm doing here. He's like, let me holler at the counselor tomorrow when she comes here. A week later, I was out of there. They sent me to Longpop. So, damn well, when I got on that bus, I was like, Diosito Santo, thank you. Like,
yeah.
When I got to Longpop, it was the very first time I had ever set foot on a low. Very first time in my whole life I had ever set foot on a low. And when I got home, when I got to Lompoc and I got off the bus, I seen white dudes playing tennis. I was like, oh yeah, I'm at a fucking low. I was like, yeah, I'm at a fucking low. And I, walked in, and then I seen that they had a whole weight pile, like everything from leg press, squats, dumbbells went up to 100 pounds. I was like, oh shit, man, I could do like 5 years here. You know what I mean? So I was like, shit. I didn't even go, like I went, dropped all my shit off on my bunk bed and just came straight to the yard and started working out. And after I was done, I had to go talk, to the homies are the biggest bunch there in the paisas. And when I got there, I just decided to sit with the paisas. You know what I mean? With I consider myself Mexican 100%. So I feel comfortable with my people. You know what I mean? So I went to go talk to the guys that had it for them, showed them my paperwork. They let me sit with them and start doing my time there, my little 6 months. In that little time, I got close to a lot of the homies from Chino and some more dudes from San Diego. Yeah. A lot of people showed me love on that yard. And started doing my shit, man, getting my shit together. And that's where I actually came up with Wrong to Strong. On that yard, I would walk around with one of the homies. His name is Vic. He was out on the news not too long ago because he fucking escaped from there. And he got caught. But we used to walk the yard, really, really smart dude. And we used to just talk. And that's where I came up with Wrong to Strong. And I used to just walk the yard, homie, just walk the yard about what I was going to do. I started writing my book about my life. And just everything that I had to do for me not to fuck up again. Like what parts of me I needed to change. Be more humble, be more, who cares if I don't have this, if I don't have that. A lot of things, man, even personal stuff inside of me. And I came out a better man because if I wouldn't have been gone for that year, I wouldn't have changed. And I wouldn't take that year back. Like that year served a purpose for me in my life, and the Wrong to Strong movement and everything that I have started now. I came home and just took off running with it, man. You'll never outwork me, man. You'll never outwork me. You'll never outdo me. This is why I get up at 2 a.m. This is why I train the way that I train. This is why, I have a fucking waiting list for clients to train with me. I'm a hustler, man. I'm a natural hustler. And, I started just putting my books together. I'm writing a couple books, not just one. Putting my shit together, my plan, my LLC. I started just putting everything into effect that I wrote down. I have 2 notebooks, my prison books. I call them my dream books. And I started just, checking off, from getting my license back. I hadn't had a license in like over 10 years. I caught a DUI on my motorcycle when I was a Rough Rider from Phoenix, and I ran from the cops, and they took my license away. So getting my license back, finishing like the little drug classes that I needed to take, my anger management shit, just everything, man, that I had to do. And I did it as a humble motherfucker walking there in the fucking heat. Me and my girl were just talking about it yesterday. I almost got like heat stroke twice because it was like 120 degrees outside, and I was walking, back and forth, and there's a lot of things, man, that like people don't realize when you come home, man, and you don't have shit, you don't have no one. My girl, I was lucky and blessed enough to meet her, and she took me as is, with no car, with no cool Wrong to Strong JC, no social media platform. She took me as I was, you know what I mean? And, I was lucky enough that she helped me and to build, what I have now. And I never thought it was going to grow this fast. My brand, my movement, my nonprofit. I go to the prison here in Arizona twice a month. I just put in for a grant for $1.5 million to get into the prisons and teach these guys how to become personal trainers. There's just so much in the works, man, that like people always ask me, they're like, how the fuck do you do so much? And I'm like, man, the busier I stay, the more my demons stay asleep in the back of my head. So that's just what I have to do, man, to like, do what I have to do and push my brand, man, because to me, it means a lot, man. If I could help a dude come home and, do what's right, man, then, it's fucking, to me, I've done something, because it doesn't matter how long you live, it matters how you lived your life. And that's the biggest thing that I've learned, man, and I got one of the biggest fucking things that I got to fix, man, and this is fucking crazy, man. So when I was like in my like deepest, drug dealing game, I was riding in the hood. I always fucking rode around in my truck or my Mercedes. I used to have a little youngster with me that used to do all my dirty work. I used to call him Green Eyes, and I used to tell everybody that he was my son. Well, that motherfucker ain't no little kid no more. You know, he's about 30 years old now, and he's seen my video on YouTube, and he fucking, you know, sent me an email, and he's like, "Yo, man, I seen your fucking your video. Fuck, man, it's crazy what you're doing. Blah blah blah." He's like, "Call me, man." So I called him, man, and he broke down on the phone, man. He's like, "I used to look up to you like you were my pops. You know, you were my dude. Blah blah blah. You used to buy me clothes when I didn't have nothing." And he's like, "Seeing you do this positive shit now, you know, has fucking like really changed me." And I'm like, "So where you at, dude?" And he's like, "I live right here in Arizona." I was like, "Where the fuck you at, man?" And he came to the gym, man, and it was so fucking crazy that a life that I almost destroyed, or I helped somewhat destroy it, I have a chance now to fix it. There's no price that you could put on that. There's no fucking price you could put on that. And, you know, I just thank God, and you know, I thank the people that support me and back me up on everything, man, that, you know, even some of my old homies that used to be my enemies, you know, call me and I talk to them on the phone, and everybody's like, "Yo, dude, you're doing it. You made it out of Chicago. You made it. You're doing your thing. We watch your videos. You're powerlifting." You know, I hold 2 state records right here in Arizona for powerlifting. And, you know, I compete in August 11th, I compete at the Europa for national records. Like, I'm going to try and make it to the big platform. And, you know, I never thought that I would be where I'm at, dog, because where I came from, the streets, what I lived, how I was, how lost. And don't get me wrong, I'm still not 100%. I'm not good. I still have a lot of things that I need to work on. You know, my relationship. I don't know how to be a father because I never had one. So I have a 1.5-year-old daughter that I don't know how to give her time when I get home. I don't know how. I'm learning all these things, and I'm lucky enough to have, you know, a baby's mom that is actually guiding me and helping me, you know, through these transitions that I don't know how to do normal stuff that a lot of other people know how to do. So, you know, it's a work in progress, man. And, you know, every day I put in the work in order for me to get better, because I just can't be caught slipping no more. I can't afford it. And I won't let it happen no more. I can't afford to go back to prison again.
And that's the key thing. See, a lot of people, when they get out of prison, like when I first got out, I was still turned up. Like, my kids can vouch for that. I got a son that's, 21? And I got another daughter that's in college. So they're of age, and then I got a small one. And when I got out, I was so militant that I made it so, I caused so much pressure in the house that we just couldn't be around each other, because it's like you get out and you're trying to introduce them to something that they've never grew up in. You know what I mean? That structure, and that you need to do this, and things had to be a certain way. But, you know, as time went on, you start to correct yourself. So the key thing that I would say to you is, at least you're acknowledging it. The fact that you have these flaws and you're trying to better them. A lot of people come to my channel and they talk all types of mess. And that's why I chose to reach out to you, not necessarily because your story, but due to the fact that, well, basically because your story ended up on a positive, you know what I mean? The narrative at the end is positive. You did all this. Now you're here and trying to be this person. And then plus you work on it. You know, I'm fat and trying to get it back. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm trying to get a pass to at least to go up in the gym, you know?
Well, man, I'm lucky enough that I work at the gym and I'm there all fucking day. Right now I'm a little bit heavy because I'm competing at a higher weight class. But I usually stay around 200, 210. Once I do this competition in August and I break some fucking records again, then I'm gonna lean out again. And, you know, lean sells for training. You know what I mean? If you're a fat trainer, you ain't getting that many clients.
I'm gonna be a fat trainer, yeah.
So, the only thing that saves me is that they watch me work out, and I'm a strong motherfucker, you know. So they see me working out, and they're like, okay, I want to be strong. I want to be big. I'm a pretty big dude, so you know, that's the only thing that saves me. But after that competition, I'm bringing the weight down, man, because I'm 240 right now, and it's hard to walk around at 240.
Yeah, I'm like, I think for the last time I checked, I think I was like 265, 270, too big. Man breasts, I'm trying to get them down, you know what I mean? But it happens, you know what I mean? Little by little, I get back into it. But now I see Strength Cartel, a lot of homies that been there and done that, and now, you know, turn it around. That's why your story is so compelling. That's why I notice people tend to gravitate to your story, and that's what I'm trying to bring to this platform, you know what I mean?
No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate reaching out, you know, and you know, to me, man, like I always tell people, I share my story not to glorify the events that happened, because, yeah, you know, I did know some really big people, and yeah, I did do some big shit. Yeah, I drove big cars. I had a lot of fucking money. I did all that shit, but at the end, if you were to ask me, was it worth it? I would say no. No, because I was in and out of prison for 17 years of my life, and I didn't get to see my babies grow up. You know, I have a 22 and a 21-year-old that pretty much fucking hate me to this day because I wasn't around. And me being around and not knowing how to be a father makes it even fucking worse. Because I've seen a lot of homies doing a lot of time, but they knew how to be fathers. They wrote letters to their daughters. They sent them drawings. They knew how to care. I didn't know how to fucking care. I didn't know how to actually be a father. You know, I went into prison and I would completely shut out from everybody and everything because I would be selfish. It would be all about me staying alive, me making it. You know, it was, I've lived a very, very selfish life. And now that's why I do what I do. You know, I had that big shoe drive on Sunday. That shoe drive was for a reason, man. And, you know, I started selling dope because of shoes. As a kid, I don't know if you remember, UOG, do you remember when the Bo Jacksons came out?
Hell yeah, I finally got a pair of them like years later.
Okay, well, when they first came out, everybody was rocking them in the hood, and I had fucking Payless Airwalks. And, you know, I wanted some Bo Jacksons, man. So, you know, I would hang around with a lot of older dudes, and they would always slip me little dime bags of weed here and there, and I would just save them because I didn't smoke. You know, I didn't start, like, really doing drugs until I was, like, a little bit older. And, you know, I would drink, but I wouldn't do, like, weed or none of that shit. So I would save them, and then, you know, I said, fuck it, you know, I could sell this shit. So I took it to school, and that shit sold, like, in the first 3 minutes. And I was like, man, I'm onto something. I was like, so I need $60 for an ounce. I got 30. All right, I'm going to go cut my grandfather's grass and get the rest of it. So I cut the grass, got the 60, got me an ounce, broke it down, made 120, got me 2, broke it down, got me 3, broke it down, caught me a pound, broke it down, and slowly but surely started moving up, you know, the ranks. And, you know, by the time I was 16, I got introduced to the, you know, back then they weren't called really the cartel. It was just a bunch of families that were working, you know, pushing weed into the United States, you know, early 90s, mid 90s. You know, it wasn't what it is now. There was no killings. There was killings, but if it was like, if you owed like a lot of money and shit like that, it's not all the bad shit that it is now. But, you know, I got introduced into that life through, you know, my very good friend, and I started working for them, and surely, but, you know, I started, you know, moving up the ranks. And when I went to prison in Mexico, I met some important people there, you know, that I'm still friends with to this day. And when everybody got transferred to the, there's an island in Mexico, Las Islas Marias, that used to be a big like federal prison where they would send a lot of the big dogs there, because when you go do time there, you take your family to live with you and you can live with your family there. And it's like a little town. You could do like 20 years there, dude, and you'll be straight. Your kids go to school. They get to leave whenever they want, blah, blah, blah. But that's a story on its own, man. But, you know, I became friends with really big people. So I went into Mexican prison with a high school diploma and made it to the feds with a fucking PhD and fucking drug dealing. So, you know, I moved up the ranks so fast that, you know, by the time I came home, you know, I started moving real weight. And that's when, you know, me, Kato became friends again, because I knew him from back in the day. But when I came back home, we reconnected also with the Flores twins, you know. Everybody that was pushing weight like that knew each other. So, you know, it's almost like that movie Scarface where they all go to the same nightclub, but they're all pushing weight against each other. So it's the same thing. We would all be at the same nightclubs in Chicago, and we would all see each other. You know what I mean? There was no animosity. There was no gang wars. There was no nothing. And it was all about paper, green. And, you know, started doing big things, man. And, you know, I ended up buying my first house from Kato, you know, my first car from him. Me and him got really tight to the point where the SDs, you know, started hating on me. And to this day, I still think it was them that put a hit on me. One night when I came home, I didn't get hit, but, you know, somebody was waiting for me at my house. And then one night when I went to their nightclub, I got set up with a gun in my truck when I valeted my truck. So, you know, it doesn't take much to put two and two together, man. You know what I mean? Jealousy is a bitch. And, you know, money is the ruler of all evil. So, you know, that when all that shit happened, you know, Kato was like, because a lot of people ask me, how the fuck do you turn an SD from an SD to a land king? I was like, well, you got to know people high up there to do that, first of all. And second of all, you know, you got to have something big that you're bringing with you, or else it ain't going to happen. If you're just a fucking regular Joe from the fucking block, guess what? It's not happening. You know, you're bringing something to the table where everybody's going to eat. That's why. And that's how. And I ended up turning the Land King. You know, Kato was like, dude, they're trying to kill you. They robbed me for like 10 of them. They robbed me for like 10 of them things. Yeah. And you know, it just kept on happening back to back to the point where I was like watching my back with my own. You know, and Kato was like, dude, just come home, bro. You grew up here. Your family's from here. You were born to be a fucking king, dude. You just, you know, you got misled. You know, he gave me that whole, you know, gang talk. Yeah. Reverse psychology shit.
Oh, good.
You know, so I ended up turning the king, you know, and went to 26th Street, you know, started hanging out over there, and it was a little intense, man, because, you know, I had caused a lot of havoc with a lot of the dudes there, so a lot of them didn't like me, but didn't touch me because of Kato. Yeah. You know, and I'm not gonna lie, like I really didn't trust myself if he wasn't there. You know, I would only roll through when he was with me. So I was watching my back a lot, and it got to the point where, you know, I just didn't feel safe no more, man. Like too much shit was happening. You know, when you see all those signs and you don't pay attention to it, that's how you end up dead. Really? You know, and I ended up going to Kato's house one night, and I was like, yo, I think I'm gonna leave, man. I'm gonna move somewhere. I was like, I got a little bit of money, some paper put away, and you know, I'm gonna take off, man. I don't feel safe here no more. And he was like, yo, why don't you go to Arizona and go fucking watch, D's, DMX is back, D, I call him D. So, he lived out here in Cave Creek, and I was like, yeah, I mean, the further away, the better. He's like, do it. He's like, I'll even throw you some extra cash and just, do your thing down there. I'm gonna give you. He had just launched his record label back then, Dinero Records. So he's like, I'll give you some T-shirts, some CDs. Just promote my shit out there, and just stay out there, man. He's like, I'm totally down with you leaving, man, because honestly, he's like, you're getting into too much shit, and that's why, man. Like, I love that motherfucker so much, man, and it hurt me so much to lose him because even though he wasn't doing right, he wanted his brothers to do right. And he gave me the blessing. He's like, leave. So I left, man. And I came to Arizona. In 2003, right before they killed him. And, when they killed him, I got the call from Valerie. And I took it pretty hard, man. It was really hard on me for a long time. I started fucking smoking crack, man. I started fucking trying to kill myself. Very, very depressed for a very long time. And, it got to the point where my demons were getting the best out of me. I did a lot of shit in the past, man. So, I have hard time as it is sleeping. I have hard time. I mean, you're a convict too. You know what's up, man. You sit against the wall at restaurants. You got to see who's coming in and out. You don't trust nobody. It's just a really fucked up way to live, man. And you hear a noise and you jump up. I mean, at least now I don't jump up with a gun, but I still jump up, and it's crazy to live like that, man, because no one's meant to have their adrenaline running like that 24/7, man. I've been getting better, like I'm saying, man, but man, the story just fucking the story could be fucking hours long, dude.
Kneel before Zod!